Hi everyone, my name's John. I'm a hobbyist and a miniature wargamer, and I'm one of the few Australian customers that got their Street Fighter the miniature game box in the first wave. So if you're watching this, I got it on the 5th of February 2021, and I thought I'd just do a quick unboxing and just have a look at all of the miniatures, more so than the cardboard components. And just sort of compare it to some of the other industry miniatures, because when I ordered this on Kickstarter, there was a lot of discussion around this being the best pre-paints in the industry. And so I think, if we look at something like a Fantasy Flight Games Millennium Falcon, which is a pre-painted wargaming miniature which you can buy relatively inexpensively, or even something like a Nintendo Amiibo, what I'm expecting to be in here would be better than of the paint jobs, and I guess anything that's on this. So to give you a bit of background, I'm a hobbyist and I've been painting wargaming miniatures now for about 27-28 years. So yes, that means I am in my 40s. The sorts of miniatures that I'd normally paint are things like your Warhammer 40,000 Librarian, stuff from Infinity, like this Pan-Oceania tag, and I'm very fond of the Knight Models miniatures as well, such as this Superman. Now, I'm not sure what to expect, because when I watched the unboxing videos from the Angry Joe show, the miniatures looked really good, and I'm hoping that they're as good, if not better, than what we were promised. So I'm going to dive in. So what I received was the core box. I received the boss expansion, and in this I'm really keen to see the two miniatures because they're two of my favourite characters. And in this, I also got the expansion goals box. Now, and you'll have to excuse the quality of this video. This is my very first YouTube video and I'm just recording it on my phone. But I'm really keen to see what some of the miniatures in here are like. I'm particularly excited for Blanca, E-Honda and Cammy, because they're sort of the main characters that I used when I played the game. And I'm really hoping that the stuff in here will be indicative of what we'll see when they do the Mortal Kombat version of this game, which I'm really excited for. In fact, if the Mortal Kombat game has Goro and all of the ninjas, I'm going to be absolutely thrilled. But I thought, now I have not looked at these, so you're sort of seeing it as I am, but I thought I'd quickly make this video, put it up on YouTube. It's a learning experience for me because I've never done YouTube before, but without further ado, let's just dive in and have a look at the miniatures and the miniature quality and the painting quality. Now, I know a lot of hardcore hobbyists will be really keen to know if these compare to things like McFarlane toys and that. I don't see that ever happening. But as I said, if we come even close to these Fantasy Flight miniatures, now these have a lot of different details. We've got dry brushing, we've got stenciling. The process for creating these miniatures is rather complex, but I'm expecting pretty much all of these miniatures to have dry brushing, washing and multi-painted parts along with some stenciling. So, here we go. So in our first box we have, and I'll just pull this out and see if I can adjust the camera. So we have, it looks like Violent Ken, a trophy. I don't know that guy's name. There's the now I'm looking really bad because I can't remember the boxing guy's name either. There's E-Honda, there's Cammy, there's Violent Ken down and Violent Ryu in there, and there's Guile. Are there more miniatures in here? Let's just have a quick look. And I'll actually pull each of these out and we'll just have a look at the detail and the painting of each of them. Okay, so we've got some cardboard components. There's more. So in here we've got Dalsim and Blanca and the cami that's based on bison. In fact, let's just start down there. So I'll just pull this out and we'll have a quick look. This will be a one take because I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I've never made a video before. And so I have to apologise in advance for you guys that are used to watching the Angry Joe show and their videos of a really high production quality. I'm just recording this on my Google Pixel phone. So here we go. I'll just see if I can get in a bit closer. So we'll start with the cami. And I had a little chopstick here to point things at. Here we go. So, whoops. Well, they don't break on first drop. So you'll see the clear parts are really high gloss plastic. Looks like they're just, I don't think they've been washed, but they've come out really nice. The base has been painted and dry brushed. It looks like it's also received a wash, so that's really nice. The cape's also received a wash. I've got to say that the quality of this is not too bad. The eyes, oh sorry, I'm still learning how to use this here. I might put this under the lamp. Worst YouTube quality video ever. The eyes are beautifully done. The stenciling on the eyes is exceptional. Better than I expected, to be honest. The cape, it's just monotone. There's no wash on the cape. But it looks perfectly fine, I think. So that's the bison version of cami. I don't know what her proper name is, so Street Fighter fans, please don't hate on me too much. Now this is, I believe his name is Fei Long. Now I may have got that wrong. Again, Street Fighter fans, please don't hate me too much for this. So here he is. Now the paint, there's a light wash on the skin. We're getting a bit of definition in the muscles. Perfectly fine, acceptable. I don't think you'd do much better painting this yourself with an airbrush, which is what I do a lot of my painting with. Again, the clear components are just sort of, looks like they've been moulded and put straight on. The base is quite nice. It's just two colours, no wash. Yeah, I've got to say I quite like that one. Now Dalsim, oh, he looks a little bit fragile to pull out of the box. Let's see how we go. Well, so the base of Dalsim's got, it's actually, it looks like it's just had a quick airbrush of a shade. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It looks like all the plastic parts are just straight out without any wash, which I think is perfectly fine. They're glossy. They look really good. He has got a wash on his muscle tone. The pants don't seem to have a wash, but they look for a tabletop miniature. It's pretty good. Would I say these are so far the best tabletop pre-paints I've seen? No, but they're not bad at all. Mind you, I am comparing them to the Fantasy Flight stuff, which I think is probably a bit of a standard for most tabletop miniature gamers. Blanca, wow, the base is really nicely done. It's been painted, looks like painted and dry brushed. Now, it says Blanca's skin hasn't got a wash on it. That's a little surprising. So the skin of Blanca is just one colour, no wash. And the hair as well, no wash. But the pants have a wash. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. So the pants have been washed, but the fur here and the skin tone, particularly around the muscles, no wash. The eyes look fantastic. The stenciling on the eyes for these, sorry, I'm trying to keep this in focus, is absolutely fantastic. So that's the first four. I'll pull that out of the way. And I'll just bring in this this tray here and pull off the top. Wow. Okay, so where shall we start on this one? Let's start with Guken. Is that his name? I don't know his name. I haven't, to be honest. I played Street Fighter 2 in the arcades when I was in high school, and I've played a couple of the newer versions on Steam, but yeah, I didn't get the Street Fighter Alpha in that expansions because I didn't know the characters, to be honest. So this guy here, the base, I'll be honest, I'm starting to think the bases are actually looking better than some of the miniatures. This base again, it's just like it's had a paint, a dry brush and a wash. There's a lot of detail on the base. No wash on his hair. Or the pants actually, and this is something that I think anyone that does a bit of miniature painting, you could probably use some Games Workshop Null Oil, and just you could go over that with a wash yourself and probably bring this up. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do, because some of these miniatures, I have to be honest, just looking at them in the box, some of them are painted better than the others. So that's him. Now let's bring out these guys here. I've got to say, guys, these are really hard to get out of the plastic. If you see me break one, it'll be an interesting lesson. Again, base looks fantastic, timber looks great, miniature itself. Now, I thought that was meant to be purple in his chest. Maybe someone, a Street Fighter fan, can mention something in the comments, but that's black with a bit of a grey highlight. The kanji on his belt looks fantastic. And the writing on his fists. Sorry if this is, there we go, in focus. Yeah, looks great. The wash on the skin for that model is very light. It's looking fairly light on this next one as well, if I can get it out. Okay, again, the base is amazing. The base looks fantastic. This is great. I think that's stenciling on his leg. Worst YouTube video ever, but thought I'd get this straight out so you guys that ordered this, and I got to be honest, I was a little bit skeptical as to if these would live up to the sort of the hype of what they were promising. And they're close. They're not quite as, the best pre-paints I've ever seen, but they're pretty damn good. Guile. Now I remember when I was seeing some of the earlier videos of this one, if I can get him in focus, I was really worried about his eyes because they looked a bit googly, but that looks great. The tattoo on his arm with the flag looks pretty good. No stars, but hey, it's pretty small. The camouflage pattern on his pants looks pretty good. Again, base is on point. E-Honda. This is one I was really excited for. That punch, that's awesome. I really like that. The base is exactly out of the video game. Like, that's fantastic. His skin wash it's very light. Could almost do with a darker shade, to be honest, but the tattoo on his face is perfect. The eyes are perfect. I can't really complain. Whoops, but I just did drop him, and he didn't break. You can tell I'm a bit of a Butterfingers cami. Now, this was another one where the eyes looked a bit googly in some of the prototype models that they showed off. Now, I know that they were only prototypes, but sometimes you're never quite sure what's going to happen with the movement from prototype to production. Interestingly, Cami's base doesn't have as many paint processes on it as the others do. This looks like it's just been painted one colour with a wash, where the others look like they've received sort of three paints. Cami's skin doesn't have a wash on it, and nor does her uniform actually, which is interesting, or her hair. So I sort of expected those to have a wash, just to bring out that muscle tone and definition. That's probably something I'll do myself. The boxing guy, I know you're going to hoot me on who it is. His base looks great, look at that. It's just one colour with like a really ornate stenciling over the top. So when I say stenciling, I think pretty much what they do is they have different templates, and they put those templates over the piece, spray that colour, then they move on to the next template, put that over the top, spray that colour, and you don't really get any overspray. That's how a lot of these have been painted. Sometimes they use transfers, but this actually is textured and feels like it's been stencil painted. The skin tone's pretty good. The wash on the muscles is probably lighter. Like if you look at some of the other models, some of them have got a really light wash, which really makes the muscles pop, and others don't. The clear bits are all pretty much the same. They're all just a high gloss thing. The detail on the lacing on the boots, the logo on his belt, it looks fantastic, and on his glove. Really nice looking pre-paint. I'll come back to that one. These are, like, I'm actually really scared about breaking these as I pull them out of the box. They're in there that tight. So I should have tried to have got a few of these out before I attempted this video, just to see how it went. But let's have a look at this guy. Now, no wash on his skin at all, but the base is a lot of attention on the base. But these tassels on his clothes and his chest, I'm surprised they didn't give that a wash, given how amazing the base looks. Again, the painting on the headband looks fantastic. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's a bit... Some of the, they've spent a lot of time working on this, and I've got to say, they look fantastic. On the table, they're going to look amazing. Amazing base. Muscle tone's been washed on this one. There's a logo on his back. Hair has been washed, but I guess that's neither here nor there. They look fantastic. I'm going to be playing this game. I'll show you the trophy. I'm going to be playing this game with my kids. I've got a couple of daughters, and we play the Batman miniatures game from Night Models, and the Star Wars game with these pre-paints, with this Millennium Falcon thing. Sorry guys, I'm having a hard time juggling all of this stuff. We play a few of those games, and I'm really looking forward to playing this with them and sharing Street Fighter with my kids. So there's a trophy here which, I'll be honest, I think it's going to break if I pull it out. But the trophy, I'll bring the tray up closer to the... Whoops, and two of them fell out. So you can't get them in the tray, but once they're out, they're out. Now I'll have another go at pulling this trophy out. My tripod's moving on me. It's the worst video in the world, so I know. So there's this trophy. It's in there really tight. Anyway, it's fairly thin plastic. It's just one color, no wash on the logo, nothing there on the trophy side to sort of. It's really basic. Probably the most basic thing in here that I can see. It's fine. It's just a trophy. I'm guessing it's just a game piece to say who's won the match. I haven't read the game rules yet, so I don't know how it plays. I'm more interested in the miniatures because that's my interest in the hobby. Let's move over to the boss expansion, and then we'll do the main box last. So this is the boss expansion. I'll just take the plastic wrap off it. Yeah, so far there's a nice spot gloss on the box. So you got the matte box with the spot gloss logo. That's really a nice touch. Now I do remember hearing in one of the videos that the stuff won't fit back in the boxes. I've been scratching my head about that idea since I heard that information on one of their streams. I've got a laser cutter, so I'm probably just going to laser cut some foam trays for the models and put all the cardboard components in one or both of the boxes, I think. Because the box art's beautiful. The box that the Kickstarter expansion ones come in is just a plain cardboard box. But the two expansion boxes are really nicely done. Okay, so we got a rule book. Some funky looking trees and cardboard components, and two miniatures. Here we go. So we've got I think it's Akuma and Bison. I'll pull these out and get them under the light properly if my tripod will let me. So okay, so I've just got an LED lamp here just to try and light this up a bit, guys. So yeah, look, the base is, look, I don't know if you can see that, but the base has been washed and dry brushed and looks great. The guy's gi or dogi, depending on which martial art you may or may not practice. I'm an Aikido person, so that's my thing. And I've lost my little chopsticks, so I'll just use my knife. The gi hasn't had a wash. His skin has. Wow, the necklace thing, I don't know what you call that. That could probably do with a dry brush, but look, the effects, the gloss effects on this they look pretty cool. I thought that was meant to be purple, but it's more of a red, this thing here. Yeah, wow, look, he's the boss. He looks fantastic. I've got to say, if the Mortal Kombat ones come out as good or better than this, I'll be pretty wrapped, especially if they do Goro and Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn as a box expansion. I don't know about everyone else, but I just want all the ninjas for Mortal Kombat personally. There's Bison. Wow, I think this is the best one yet, to be honest. The gloss effects that they've done really work well on this model. His eyes, though, I don't know if you can see that. There's no pupil in the eyes on this, so that's interesting. Where the other ones did have pupils. The cape has, if it has a wash, it's hard to see. It might have a very slight blue wash, but honestly you can't tell. It looks one colour. Same with his uniform. There's no wash to bring out the muscle tone, but look, I think that's fine. I'm surprised that there wasn't a wash on the silver components though, just to make them pop a bit more. But hey, they're pre-paints, so a lot of miniature wargamers would say they don't like pre-paints. There's my chopstick. They don't like pre-paints. They'd rather paint them themselves. Then there are other people who don't have the time to paint them. I'm sort of in that camp of wanting to paint them, so I'm really looking at this from a miniature painter's perspective, and that sort of the hype that these were going to be some of the best pre-paint tabletop miniatures for a board game or for a tabletop game. And I was a bit skeptical. I'll be honest, I still am, because they're good. Don't get me wrong, but the best. Well, we'll see what's in this box. I'd say that some of them are outstanding, and some of them are great, and some of them are a bit of a head scratcher. And as I'm going through these, I'm starting to wonder if some of them were meant to have a wash, and maybe there was a quality control issue with some of them not quite getting the number of paint processes that they were meant to. It's hard to tell, because I do remember them saying in one of the live streams that there was going to be a lot of paint processes on these miniatures, and there is on all of them, even the ones that are a bit questionable, like the Native American guy, and Blanca. I'm really surprised by Blanca. Blanca's probably one of the ones I was most excited for, and one of the ones I'm most underwhelmed by. Alright, so here's the core box. We've got, again, a stack of cardboard components. I'm a miniature gamer, so I'm less interested in cardboard. Here we go. Now these are actually, if I'm honest, these are better than the other ones. These are better than the expansion models. So here's oh gee whiz. Can I get these out of the box? Here's Vega. And yeah. There's a lot more. Again, all of the bases are at a really high level for pre-paints. I haven't seen a single one where the base hasn't been at a really high level. The legs, they've been painted a couple of colours. No wash on his legs, but doesn't need it. The skin has been washed to perfection. You can really see that muscle tone nice and clearly. I know this is going to be a pretty heavily criticised video for the quality and probably my opinions, but hey, I'm just sort of thought I'd do this given I got it before a lot of you guys overseas are going to get it. Chung Lee, perfect. Probably actually I'd say this is the best one yet. Oh, you can see upper skirt. Yeah, all of the details there. Her skin hasn't been washed, but it doesn't need to, especially being a female figure. So the main attractions of the game, Ken and Ryu. Both of them have exceptionally well washed skin. The gis have been washed. The bases have been done perfectly. The eyes, actually I'm going to say the eyes on this one, let's see if I can get this in the light, not quite as perfect, if I dare say, as the other ones. No, I don't know if there we go. It's still pretty damn good. I'm not complaining at all. And my kids don't have as critical of an eye as I do with this sort of stuff. The Japanese on his belt, and the branding on his gloves. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed, so I know this is dipping out of the camera angle. Base is on point, straight out of the video game. Zangief. Oh, he came out all right. The bases all look like they've had 2 or 3 passes. So the front of Zangief has been washed. You can see all of the wash in his muscle tone. It's a light shade of a wash, but the back doesn't appear to have been washed. That's a bit odd. No wash on the pants, but you wouldn't really expect that with him. I might go in and dry brush the chest hair here, just to bring that up a bit. The eyes look pretty good. Laces on the boots are painted. He looks great. And Vega, oh, no, sorry, Sagat. Is this Sagat? Oh, geez, I can't remember now. Again, the base is great. There's a bit of a mispaint on the base here and here, but that's nothing really. Yeah, it just looks like they've missed it, or they've done a dry brush and they've just missed a spot. I don't know if that's in focus. Yep. The bandages on his legs could probably do with a wash, so I might do that again. Those of you who aren't miniature painters, I don't normally recommend Games Workshop products, but there's a paint they sell. It's a wash called Null Oil, and I think some of that on a couple of spots on some of these models will just finish them off, and it's a relatively cheap and expensive way of just touching them up. His eye, everything's on point. I think that says Tiger on his belt. Yeah, he looks great. So guys, that's and ladies, that's a really quick unboxing of the miniatures of the Street Fighter miniature game. The miniatures are really what I was interested in. I'll just pull a couple out and put them on the bench, because I'm a miniatures person. Miniature gaming is my interest more so than the board game component. Where's that blanker? So I think for my money, the standouts are probably the main characters in the core box. They look exceptional. The two bosses are probably, in my honest opinion, a step down in painting quality from that. And the Kickstarter stretch goal ones, they're like Cammy's pretty good. Fei Long and this guy, what's his name? Is it Fei Long? I think it's Fei Long. This guy's fantastic. This guy, he's of the quality of the ones in the core box. And the evil Cammy, the bison-eyed Cammy, probably the best Kickstarter expansion ones. But some of the other Kickstarter ones, I don't know. You know, I'm not gonna moan about them. I'm a little bit disappointed with Blanca. I'm gonna have to fix him up myself. And oh, he's got the cuffs on his ankles as well. Yeah, look, he's probably, if I'm honest, he's the worst painted one in the set. With the exception of his base. his base is really good. I've lost my chopstick again. His base is really good. Oh, there it is. Yeah, his base is really well done. The base is better than the model for Blanca. I'm going to say that. E Honda, he's actually, I'm not at all disappointed with E Honda, and the effect with the fist, that looks absolutely fantastic. But there's an honest unboxing and a bit of a, I don't know if I'd call it a review, but just an opinion. I know most of us have opinions and they're not really worth anything. If we compare these to Fantasy Flight Games pre-paint or a Nintendo Amiibo, which, look, I think some of the more board game people are probably going to be more familiar with these than, say, something like this. I'm going to say the Kickstarter expansion ones are on par with an Amiibo, and the bosses and the core box models are better than a Nintendo Amiibo as far as the number of paint cycles and washes and things. Like, I'm using Ganon as an example there. But comparing it to something like this, which is way more detailed as a sculpt. This probably has less paint cycles than some of these. In fact, I'm sure it does. But the process just seems to be, at least for getting the washes and the realism, seems to be a bit better. So there you go. I think anyone that gets this isn't going to be disappointed. I'm not disappointed at all. I'm really excited to give this a go. And based on this, and I think an hour of touch-ups, particularly on my mate Blanca, who I was really keen on, these will all be ready to go, and I can't wait to see what they come up with for the Mortal Kombat one. I really hope that we get some classic and some modern stuff for that, but I guess the Angry Joe team and Jasco Games will give us more information soon. Alright guys, well I hope this has been of interest and hasn't been too much of a crappy YouTube video, but as I said, it is my first attempt, and thanks for watching.